Nat Sulph, also known as sodium sulfate, in its medicinal form, Natrum Sulphuricum, is the second of the Zodiacal salts of salvation, also known as the essential mineral salts for the body. This Zodiacal salt is assigned to Taurus. The reason it's assigned to Taurus is because of its natural ability to heal and rejuvenate the exhausted faculties of the Taurus influence. So the Taurus influence is of the planet Venus, and that deals with stability. That deals with your nurturing capabilities, and also talking about in your body's ability to nurture itself, nurtures the yin inside of it. Also, it deals with relationship affairs. It also deals with like the feelings of firmness of love. So like if you have family, or if you have a business or a home or a place that you live that you have a deep affection towards, that affection would lead you to want to protect it. It's very important to you. So the firmness of love that you have for things. So as I spoke about in the previous video, Aries, the influence of Aries in medical astrology deals with the cranium, deals with the pituitary gland, the pineal gland, the optic thalamus, and the upper regions of the head and the cranium. So the second consecutive sign and the anatomical structures that aligns with Taurus are the lower part of the body, the mandible of the face, the ears of the face, the neck bones, the very top of the shoulders in this area, the neck and the jaw of the human body. But also it deals with the liver and the gallbladder as well. It deals more with the cerebellum and the madulla oblongata, which is the bottom part of the brain, and the trunk of the brain, which is the signaling part of the brain, versus the cerebrum, which is the top part of the brain, which Aries governs. This is a part of its a part of the sequence, or the stages. Taurus being the second sign, it is the receiving end of the electrical impulses of the Aries brain. So therefore, the top of the brain, the cerebrum, comes up with thoughts and motor actions and ideas. The Taurus part of the body, the second part of the body, which is the the cerebellum and the medulla oblongata, they deal with the motor function. So the ideas come from the top of the brain, and then the actual action and motor function are received by the cerebellum and then sent down into the body via the medulla oblongata. These are ruled by Taurus. So what Natrum Sulphate does is it helps manage the fluid levels in the body. It helps with getting rid of excess fluid in the body. If you, it goes into the function of sodium itself. You know, the sodium-potassium pair in the muscles in the body. Like sodium, potassium are like best friends. They're like back to back, because potassium helps retain nutrients and water in the cells and make use of it in the cells, while sodium is the key factor for releasing excess fluid in the cells. And usually when fluid is released from the cells, toxins are released as well for them to be excreted in the other functions of the body. So Natrum Sulphate is in charge of managing the fluid balance in the water. It's in charge of toxin removal, and also because of the heavy influence and tie that the Taurus influence has with the liver and the gallbladder, it's also in charge of bile production. It's in charge of liver and gallbladder fluidity, as far as the fluids and how they function and flow through those organs. So some of the conditions that you can find yourself dealing with is neck pain, back pain, sometimes shooting down the spine, because when you wake up on the wrong side of the bed, or you work yourself out too much, and you can only turn your head like this or turn your head like that, because the muscles in the back of your head and the back of your neck right here in the top of your shoulders are hurting. And they say that it's because you're dehydrated, or you can be overhydrated. Sodium has a direct effect on these pains and symptoms that you would feel. Sodium being in charge of the release and the excretion of toxins and fluids. You would need to be hydrated, but also need to have sufficient levels of sodium. In this case, sodium sulfate, Natrum Sulphuricum, to make sure your muscles are functioning properly and they're excreting properly. People that deal with this is actually in TCM, people that deal with this would be considered dealing with situations of dampness. Like if they have a problem with sulfate, with sodium in their blood, or in their body, and they're not really excreting the fluids out of their body like they're supposed to, they're not getting rid of the fluids in their body, it can cause symptoms of dampness. And TCM, they will call it dampness. Now, that comes from many different things: poor diet, poor lifestyle habits, stuff like that. But also, it deals with a sodium imbalance. So, dampness, it's an accumulation of fluids in the digestive tract, and therefore makes it really sluggish. It makes your fecal matter really like muddy, and it can cause diarrhea. That's also a symptom of deficiency in Nat Sulph, is diarrhea, chronic diarrhea, and that's just because your fluid levels in your digestive system are not right. You're not being able to form full stools or like solid stools like you need to keep the integrity of your bowels. Also, in Ghana medicine, in medicine of Africa, in their system they consider the blood to be the element of air. So also in TCM, blood is associated with the chi. And if you were to go look at it in the density form, Jing would be the heavy material of your body, like the integrity of your body. Chi would be your blood flow and the amount of energy that you have freed up to use. So in density terms, Jing would be your earth, Chi would be your air. But in Ghana medicine, blood is actually considered and correlated with the element of air, because blood can, when it's pumped, it can transverse up your body, it can transverse down your body, and also side to side and across to make sure your body is nourished. Whenever you have a deficiency of sodium in your body, or Nat Sulph, Natrum Sulphuricum in your body, is there can be a number of symptoms that you feel and it's all to get rid of the excess fluid in your body. Most people think that you get too much fluid in your body from drinking too much water, when that's not exactly true. If you look at mountainous regions, people that live in mountainous regions hardly have problems with body fluid and stuff like that, or sometimes they get dehydrated, because in higher regions, the amount of water in the air, evaporated water that's present in the air, is much lower, so people don't really deal with those. But people that live in lower regions, like in the plateaus or just in cities in general, there's a heavy amount of water vapor in the air, and they say through these sciences and medical practices that you can retain fluid in your body from the air you breathe, because you breathe in oxygen, but you also breathe in the water. And just like your digestive tract, when you eat food, you digest, and the nutrients taken from your digesting food as it's digesting is put directly into the bloodstream. Same when you breathe. When you breathe, you extract the oxygen. You also extract the other constituents in the air straight into your bloodstream. So when there's a heavy amount of water content, and you live in damp areas, once again, dampness isn't just given to you. Like in TCM, dampness isn't just caused by just the food you eat and the amount of water you drink or the fluids you retain, but it's also influenced by your environment. And you can have dampness symptoms because your environment is too saturated, and therefore your inner environment becomes saturated. Same thing. So when you're breathing in too much water, or you live in a very humid place, you can develop these symptoms of sodium imbalance. You can develop these symptoms of dampness. So the reason that it's associated with Taurus is because people under the influence of Venus, they love comfort. You know what I'm saying? They love to be loved. They like nice foods. They like really rich king and queen food. They love to eat. And also, it's just they are prone to a sedentary lifestyle. They like to relax. When everything is good, they like to kick their feet up, So living a lifestyle like that, it's easy to accumulate toxins in your body because of lack of exercise. It's easy to accumulate fluids in your body because you're not perspirating or sweating them out. And I did kind of get off the topic of the symptoms of having a sodium imbalance. And that's like one of the ways, if you're not really able to get rid of water in your body will start to do things and trigger things in your body to get rid of it. Like when you're cold, you shiver. But if you're not really cold, you just have chills, and chills are a symptom of sodium imbalance. Chills, and when you start shivering from chills that you have, are your body's muscular system like violently shaking your body on a molecular level to release those waters. So like if your sodium isn't really working in your body, and it's not really able to release on a molecular level the fluid content of your cells, your body will go into chills, or you'll have fevers where you overheat and you sweat and you perspirate, getting rid of that extra water. or you have the chills and it's not really cold, but you're cold and your body shivers from these chills that you have. Is the violent shaking, just like when you when you're shivering when you're cold to generate heat. These chills shiver your body to release the water on a molecular level. The body is amazing, I tell you. So that's why it's also great for Taurus influenced individuals, because of their naturally prone to lifestyles. It'll help basically back up those systems. So if you do have a lazy sedentary lifestyle, or you do like to eat certain foods in abundance, or if you just like you just like the comfortability of life, you don't really exercise much, you don't get too active or whatever like that, having Natrum Sulphuricum will help the body keep those faculties of drainage and toxin removal on a cellular level in your body. So even though Nat Sulph is really not prescribed to, but assigned to, and really great for Taurus influenced individuals, it's just good in general for people that deal with sensitivities to dampness, that deal with sensitivities to humid environments, that people that deal with fluid retention, chronic cases of edema and stuff like that, and also people that deal with liver and gallbladder problems. It's really good for people that deal with these symptoms, because these are symptoms of natrium or sodium sulfate deficiencies. So if you're dealing with those things, it'd be good to talk to your doctor and see if they would recommend this for you. It's always good to talk to your healthcare provider, because if you actually see a doctor on a regular basis and you're taking medications, it's good to converse with them to see if it'll conflict with or not. So I'd say always talk to your doctor before you take any of these supplements. Naturally, they're good for you, but nowadays, just because of the medical industry and just the different types of drugs that people are taking, it could have adverse effects on your body. So with that said, y'all have a good day.